So title is 10 Easy Moodle Hacks for ESL. My email address is there if you want to find out more. If you want to share these slides, please do. Let's try to get the message out to as many teachers as possible. And so the idea is I'll give you some code and some strategies for you to try these hacks on your college Moodle. I'd love it if you could share these slides with your colleagues and try to get them to embrace Moodle also. And if you see ways to add to change and critique these hacks, please feel free and let me know. I'm always curious to learn. And if you're interested in either courses on labodanglais.com or publishing your own courses in any fashion at all, I would love to help you. I think it's students benefit, and there are a bunch of good reasons to self-publish. Okay, if you don't know me, I'm an ESL teacher at Hunsick College. I created the virtual writing tutor in 2012 during the student strike. I've created a bunch of textbooks called the Actively Engaged series, and I have a blog, and the link is here if you want to see what I'm up to. Okay, now look, I want to say that I admire teachers, but I think they overvalue hard work. I had a professor at Concordia. His name was Alex Sharma. He said, if you're working hard, you're doing it wrong. It's the students who should be working hard. Teachers should be taking it easy. You're not paid to work hard. You're paid to be smart. So be smart. That was his message, and it kind of stuck with me ever since. So let's consider some of the pedagogical compromises we make when we work hard. For example, we should maximize the number of meaningful essays students write and revise, right? But we reduce the number of writing assignments because of the correction load, right? Teachers do this calculus every semester. Okay, I'll assign 5 essays. One every 2 weeks. Hold on a second. That's a lot of correction. Okay, I'll assign 1 essay, for example. We should maximize the number of formative evaluations received. However, when we correct it, we feel, I spent long hours correcting this, it should count. We should minimize the amount of time students wait for feedback. That's true, right? But, we keep students waiting, what, a week, 2 weeks? For our 1 of 3 groups, teachers are allowed to take up to 3 weeks, and then they're surprised that students don't find their corrective feedback relevant. Of course it's not relevant, it's old news. They've lost interest. We should maximize due date flexibility. I don't see how deadlines serve students. Why are we so tough on students with deadlines? The importance of deadlines, I believe, is a pedagogical fiction. It doesn't exist anywhere else. You go to a dentist's office, they keep you waiting. You hire a contractor, they're late. There's all kinds of flexibility in the working world, but in education, we have these fixed deadlines. We give zeros and penalties. If we could grade assignments more quickly, more easily, I think we could do away with this kind of inflexibility. And finally, I just heard a story from one of my colleagues who gives 100% to students who have written a weekly, paragraph or narrative or something, or 0 if they haven't done it. Well, this is not in keeping with the competency-based approach. Competency-based approach means approaching the competency, meets the competency, or exceeds the competency. Minimally, we have to have some sort of scalar evaluation. So I believe that automated evaluation can help students avoid these compromises, and students will benefit. And I think Moodle can help us do that. And I'll show you some ways. Okay, so how you can use these slides. I sent you the link. All of these little icons here, they're clickable, and they can allow you to jump around. For example, here's the first one, and there's a little link that jumps us back to the menu like this. All right, so let's start with the first one, Moodle hack number 1. Okay, so I use the virtual writing tutor in a special way on labodanglais.com. I got a team of programmers to create a Moodle plugin for me that simulates a virtual writing tutor inside Moodle. It's called Fast Assignment. But you can add a grammar checker to your course very easily using a simple hack. It looks like this. Just put it as a little window inside your course. And the way it works is very simple. You turn editing on, you add an activity, in this case, a label. You click add, you switch to the HTML mode of the editor, and you paste the sample code, which I'll give you. So the editor looks like this. This is the HTML button, and you just paste this code and put a link in the PowerPoint to iframe code that you can use. It's very simple. It's an iframe tag. You have to name the source. You give the website that you want to include. You say the width and the height. You need to set the height. And if you don't want it to slow down your course, you add this little attribute, loading equals lazy. We call this lazy loading. It only loads when the iframe comes into view. This makes websites faster. Okay, so here's the code.
Okay.
I hear speaking.
Yeah, it was me. It's Joy. So we just have to copy and paste that code that you have and just pop that into our Moodle page.
Yeah, that's right. It's really easy to do. I can show you in an instant if you want to see. I'll just show you how quick it is. So I'll copy it. Right. Go to a course. Here I'll set up I have a course here for practicing English course. The editing is on. Right. Okay, I've already added it, but I can add another one. Add an activity or a resource. What did I say? I'm going to add a label, right? A label is down here. Label, add the label. Label text. I need to switch to HTML mode. Paste in the text, and then simply save and return to the course. And there it is. There it is. Right. It's got a scroll bar, shows you the entire website. It's in the mobile form because I think this is 100% of this section of the course, this part of the page. And so it's shrunk down to the mobile view, and all the tools are here. You can put in an example, hit check grammar, takes a second, and it shows all the errors. I mean, it's pretty well integrated into any course. Okay. Going back. So there's the code. Let me just explain the code very simply. It's an iframe tag. You need to name the source, src, give it a title. You need to set the width. You can make it 100% or less, and it will expand based on that number. And you need to set a height. I recommend 700. Set the loading to lazy. No border, makes it look like it's fully integrated into the page. And you have to close this section with a closed iframe tag. That's it. That's how it works. It's so simple. So similarly, we can add formative essay scoring into an assignment. So instead of a course, you can add it into an assignment. Okay, so I'll just tell you how I score essays. I have a special app. It's called Fast Assignment. It hasn't been approved by the Moodle team yet. Apparently that takes a long time. In any case, once it's approved, it'll be available to DeClick and everybody else. They're unlikely to want to install it until it gets full approval. I think I got a team that did it too cheaply and should have spent more time working on complying with the Moodle standards of coding. Anyway, it works for me. So what I do is I read the essay. It's number 1 here. I click automated evaluation. That's the button here. The system generates a score here, it puts it into the gradebook, and it generates the feedback, and it's all here in this window. And then I review the feedback to make sure there aren't too many false alarms or problems. But I have a hack for you that allows you to add this kind of feature to any website. You'll embed the virtual writing tutor into an assignment. You need to create an assignment, right? Okay, I have a little video. So what happens is it adds a video and then the virtual writing tutor underneath. So let's just watch the video very quickly so you know what. Before you submit your essay to your teacher, use the virtual writing tutor to get a formative essay evaluation. Paste the text, click the down arrow, click Score Essay, and choose the type of essay that you are submitting. Click Check. The system will give you your score. It'll tell you where you need to make changes and show you your errors. Okay, so that's it. Simple little video. And oops. It's Luis jumping in there. That's good. All right, so that's the video, and that's the video here. And then the virtual writing tutor is embedded using an iframe down here. And the code is here. That's all you have to do. Copy and paste this code, drop it into the HTML mode of an editor in your assignment. Simple to do. Okay, here's another one. So the virtual writing tutor can also help in another way. You can embed a pronunciation app into an oral online assignment. So you embed the virtual writing tutor into an assignment again. It's assignment. There's a little video for you. You can use the virtual writing tutor to help you with your pronunciation. Paste in a text and click the speaker icon.
I'm a college student, so I always check the reliability of my sources.
You can download the audio file to your computer to help you practice for an upcoming oral in your English class. Okay, so you get the idea. There's a little video again, explains what to do, and then the virtual writing tutor is embedded below, and students can check their pronunciation. And, you know, students say to me, reliability, all kinds of weird things. I'm a student. I get all kinds of weird stuff. So having a system that will generate a text-to-speech file would be quite useful, I think, for students preparing for an oral. Here's the code. Copy and paste it. Modify it as you like. Okay. Okay. So I created a new system on the virtual writing tutor for generating chatbots. And chatbots are great because they answer questions, right? So students had lots of questions, and I got over 50 email messages in the form of a Mio every single week. Plus, I gave my cell phone, and I got lots of text messages too. It's kept me busy, but I've added a chatbot to my course now, and hopefully it'll answer some questions that students have. So you turn editing on, create a label, that's here, and you add the HTML code. Okay, so what you need to set the width, right? 400, I think, is right. 300 maybe is better. And you need to set a height. The height should be 550. This is in pixels. I recommend no frame border and no scrolling. And again, loading should be set to lazy. There's transparency that I think you should have. Okay, so all of this is a way of adding a chatbot to your course. I can show you how it works if you want. It's not so difficult to see how the use of it. I'll go to, okay, so I'll go virtual, okay, Labo. Here's the course. I created this chatbot for this course. Here it is. I click on the help icon, takes me down here. Can I start by asking you a few questions? Yes. What's your first name? So it can collect names, which is very useful. Are you having problems with automated evaluation system? There are some questions about that. So I can choose yes or no. And then I can go through a series of questions. Test or exercise problem, right? And it'll answer questions. The quiz is password protected. The teacher has hidden the quiz. You haven't read the article yet. And it gives you a bunch of other topics. So it's a way of directing students, narrowing their question and then directing them to the answer.
And Nick, may I ask, are we able to personalize those bot questions and bot answers?
Absolutely. So it's here. If we go to, here, virtual writing tutor, writing tools, chatbot creator, chatbox creator. You click new chatbox, and then you can do whatever you want. So let's see, this one. This is the one that I showed you. You can choose the colors, for instance. Then you can choose whether to ask questions, collect information. I'm just collecting the name. And then there are all these are the questions. I'll show you the questions. And then we've got the FAQs. Let's see if I can get to those quickly. FAQs are very simple. So what's the question? In this case, it's how can I help you? There are trigger words. And then suggested topics that come afterwards. And then you just keep adding and adding and adding, putting in the trigger words, stop, goodbye, whatever. grade, grades, gradebook, any of those will trigger the answer, and the answer is here. Top hand corner of the course page, there's a hamburger menu. Click on it. A preview is here. The iframe code is here. So it publishes it. There's a floating iframe and an embedded. I'm using the embedded, but the floating one puts like a little, I can show you. It looks like, it puts a little, like a little face down here, right? Where you can just click on the little face and it floats on the page. Anyway, so that's the idea. Okay, so the chatbot, I think it would also be a good opportunity for business students to develop a way that, you know, businesses communicate with their customers. Click on Chatbox Creator, give it a title. You click on the iframe to get the code, right? And coming soon, and that's the chatbot will export all of the conversations it's had with all of your students and their names to an Excel file, and you'll be able to, you know, mine it for insights into, you know, what is the most confusing thing about the course, right? What is the most common question? So it'll all come out in an Excel file. That's coming soon. We need Google to approve our application, and that's going to take another 5 weeks. So that'll be in the new year, but you can integrate that afterwards, create the chatbot, and then you click the button to generate the support with the Excel file. Now, here's Moodle hack number 5. I think this is the most important thing ever. It's mastery model scoring. You need to go into your gradebook, click on Setup, Gradebook Setup, add a category, add a whole bunch of assignments to a category. In this case, these are all essay writing assignments. They're all worth the same amount, right? It's worth 20% of the course. And then at the bottom, it'll show how many count. And it says here, weighted mean of grades, keep the 3 highest values, include empty grades. So the students can write 5, or in this case, 7, but 5 is what I've made available, and the best 3 count. This, I believe, is profoundly useful because when the student gets a low score, they can do more work, get more practice, and improve their score. It's never like I had a bad day, I got a low score, and now I'm carrying around this burden of a 0 or a failing grade for the rest of the semester, and I've lost my motivation. No, I just do some more work and my score goes up. It also means that those students who are focused on efficiency, I just want to do the minimum, get a passing grade and move on, they can do that. And those people who really want to learn can do the maximum. I think this is a game changer. You need to click on Edit and set keep the highest or drop the lowest. Simple enough. Okay, now this is actually, I think what Joy was interested in. It's to use clickable thematic icons. So if you notice in my course here, I'll show you, there's a little video I recorded. Go to the course, you click on the course title, and then you have all these icons that relate to the topics like censorship or animal rights or feminism, right? And the icons are meaningful, and people have a big visual cortex. They navigate well using visual cues, right? So this is what I want to show you how to do. And you can see how long it takes to scroll up and down. So it's better to have these icons to allow you to jump around much faster. Okay, now where to get icons? You can get them in PowerPoint. Click Insert, and then there's a little icon library there. Here's an example. I did a search for level, and this is what I got. And you just save it as a picture. That's not what I do, though. I use Noun Project. I don't know if you know it. It's $39.99, I think, US a year. They have an amazing assortment of icons. So that's what I use. And turn editing on, create a label. This is a label at the top of the course. You need to add a picture. So you click on the picture button. You enter either the URL or you browse repositories. And then you upload a file. And shows you the file that you've uploaded. You set the size. I recommend 240 by 240 for the top of a section, the pixels. And then you save it and center it, right? Now, you can switch to the HTML mode, and this is important. You need to add in a little bit of code. You can't do this any other way. You have to add the code yourself. And it's ID equals, and then some name. In this case, it's level check. That's what I added. All right, you can see it here. It's a paragraph. ID equals level check. Now there's some style centering the image, but that's what you need to add. Okay. And there's the sample code for you to use. And I've put in a link to the icon. You can just add it in the HTML mode and you can see how it will work.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Can you just go back to that previous slide? Okay, so where it says level check,
yeah.
If it were like feminism, we would type in feminism or something like that?
Exactly.
Okay, and then the rest we can just copy and paste?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so try it like this, and then we'll work on changing the icons afterwards. You'll see this all, but it's important to understand this concept, right? And that is the ID tells the browser where to go, right? And so this element here is called level check. Could be feminism, could be abortion, could be whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they click on the icon, it's going to go down to the section in the course.
That's right.
Have the level check. Okay.
Exactly. And I'm going to show you how that works later. So here you can see it's a section head icon. It's 240 pixels. It's kind of large. But here you can see at the top of the course, they're a bit smaller and they're clickable. Mm-hmm. So here I want to be able to click on this and jump down to the section with the level check. Again, I need to add a label, right? Add a picture, right? Browse repositories. It's already there. Just add it. Right, and then I'm going to set it to 100 because icons, navigation buttons shouldn't be too big. Right, and there it is. I need to add a link. And the link should be, and this is very important, the link should be # level check. # is what they call an anchor or an in-page anchor. And it tells the browser, okay, it's on this page, but I'm looking for the ID level check. And so it's a little ID number. You need the little hashtag there. Okay, so now when you hover over this icon, it shows you the target, and that is labodongle.com. It's the Moodle installation with the course 61. And then here it shows you # level check. That's the target. Okay, and so click the icon, the browser will jump to the target ID. Now, you need to add more than one if you want them to, like you want a help button, you want all the other topics. So you'll add more icons after this one, make a whole big row. Okay, so now just remember, top section should be 100 by 100, I think is clear enough. That's the size you want. And you need to add hyperlinks, and the hyperlinks are the anchor tag with the H reference, the hyperlink reference, and then open quotes, and then # and the name of that section, and then you close the anchor tag. In the section headings, you just need to add an ID to the paragraph or to the image. You just need to add an ID. ID equals no hashtag, just the name. All right, so it's a bit tricky, but you can do it. Top section now. Okay, remember. All right, there you go. Okay, add an icon to section with ID help. Here we go. Here's a help button. ID is help. Right, there you go, and keep on going and going and going. All right, I think, yeah, here, there's a link here. Virtual Writing Tutor files, Moodle hacks, sample code.doc. All the code is there. It's in a Word document. You just copy and paste it. This one is a pronunciation test. It's not really a hack. It's a feature. It's a plugin. So here is the pronunciation test. I like it. I think it works. Push to speak. A man walks into a dinner, sits down at the counter, and order a bowl of soup with errors. And this gives me a 0 score. Show the solution. Shows me what it heard and what it should have heard. And then I can retry and try again. A man walks into a diner, sits down at the counter, and orders a bowl of soup. Now I get a full score. Okay, so it's like that, and you can add additional sentences. I think it works well. It's an H5P. It's a new library of interactive quizzes, H5P. There it is. So you do a search for speak the words, or speak the word set, and then follow the instructions, add in the sentences. If you want to put in a picture like I did, you can. It's very straightforward. The next one is dictation. I think this is marvelous, really. It's even better, I think. Here's why. So you can put in a picture, and then you put in sentences with a description, and there are speakers.
Added sugar must be taxed to reduce its consumption and to subsidize healthier food choices.
So you just listen to the file, you type in the sentence. And then when you click check, it actually shows you the location of your errors, which I think is much better, right? Added sugar must be taxed. So I got it wrong. Now, what I'd like to do is to hire a programmer and get this kind of level of detail in the feedback to be applied to the dictation, to the pronunciation exercises. But that's going to take some money and time and planning. But everything's possible, right? If you can do it with dictation, you can do it with pronunciation. Right? Okay, interactive content. Type in dictation if you can't find it. Dictation, create a dictation. Add the sentence, add the audio file, add any pictures or instructions. It's very simple. Is it a hack? I don't think so. It's a feature. Okay, here's a hack because you have to use HTML code. It's bilingual talking dictionary, right? So here's what I want to show you. Like, for instance, this one's on body image. Click on glossary.
Advertisement.
You can hear the pronunciation. You can put in pictures.
Anorexia.
There are translations, all of that. What's good about it also,
Ideal.
what's good about it is that once you've made your glossary, it automatically generates a matching exercise, drag and drop. So that works well. And then you hit check to find out your score and what you got right and what you got wrong. And this is automatically generated once you've made your glossary, and it generates a card game that students can download and print, or you can save as a PDF. It's very, very powerful and very time efficient, I would say. So that's how do you make it? Virtual Writing Tutor, Glossary Creator. I think this is a good exercise for students. I have my students create field-related glossaries, translation, pronunciation, all of that stuff. So you put in a new glossary, you put in a new element, in this case, lean, right? You name the part of speech, and I'll show you. So you just put in lean, for instance, and then the system just remembers what the word was. You hit the speaker icon, it generates the audio automatically. It gives you a button for Google to search for the definition, shows you the Google definition, you copy and paste it, you put it in, you can switch it to sentence case, check your grammar. Translation, it remembers your choice if you're Francophone or Arabic speaking, and then click go and it finds the translation for you, and there's a copy button here. Put it in. It's so fast. You can generate very detailed glossaries very quickly. And then you get to use LexTutor. And this is Tom Cobb's website, right, from the University of Quebec in Montreal. So, and it shows you all the authentic occurrences of lean from psychology, food science, archaeology, English, engineering. So I'll use the one from English. It's here. And just put in the example and then save it. And then, of course, images. It will take you to Wikipedia Commons and search Wikipedia Commons for you. Or you can use noun project icons if you want. And then this is the hack part. You click on HTML. You export the HTML like this, copy to the clipboard, and you put it in a page, right? You create a page, put it in, and there you have it. I think this is a very powerful way of helping students learn new vocabulary. The card game is something they can play in groups as a mildly competitive cooperative activity for learning vocabulary in using breakout rooms. for example. Super fun. Students like it. There's a link to create the card game. Looks like this. Click print. You can either print it or save it as a PDF. Okay, now the last thing I have is how to make a virtual version of a card game, because getting students to print at home might be a bit difficult. So here's an example of a virtual card game. I recorded this. Here we go. And so you get a virtual card. You click new card, it shuffles and selects a new card for you. And this is on argumentation, support, point of view, fact, assert, etc. Words related to argumentation. Okay, how do you do it? Open a page, create a page, switch to HTML mode, and paste in the HTML, the code. Here's the code. There's this is where all the questions and the answers are kept. It's in a JavaScript page. So you click on, this is the part you need to modify if you want to make a new card game. But it's all here. You can download this file. In fact, I'll open it for you. This is what it looks like. Looks confusing, but it's not. So it's got a list of cards, and then you've got a little close open apostrophe, it's used as a quote. You've got the clue, right? And then you've got the answer. And it randomly selects from this array of clues and answers. Just anybody can do it.
So we could create our own. We could create our own card game and just follow that that sort of code.
Absolutely, you just copy the code, right? You're copying it, and I'll open Notepad. Come on, Notepad. Well, I use Notepad++, but you can use Notepad. And you put the code in, right? And then clue could be. So what do I do? All the way up to here, I go an animal with whiskers and a meow, right? And then the answer would be dog? No, cat.
Joy's cat.
And you just do that. And then, of course, you'll have to go back to the code that I suggested here. And where's the code? Sorry, lost it. Yeah, the code here, and you just have to change the source to the new source. If you upload it to Moodle, you have to find out where it is in your file directory, copy the link, and put it in here where it says script source. That's the new source. But everything else will be the same. This is all display, right? How it looks and how it interacts when you click the button. That's all here, but the random clue and answer is all here.
Wow.
There you go, 10 recipes. And it's all yours to try for yourself. So get your colleagues involved, get them using this.
Oh my God, Nick, thank you. This is just amazing.
Yes, yeah.
Thanks.
Wow.
Okay, what am I missing? What should we do next? What problems do your students have that possibly technology could assist with?
Stress.
Exactly. All right. You should add.
Maybe, Nick, probably some false alarms, some kind of language awareness, IT awareness, when they get false alarms, just not to panic. And maybe with a form to complete, and with the maybe a specification of the different categories for the potential false alarms.
Sure. So
their job is to complete the form with a view. I mean, it should give them a sense of self-satisfaction, of self-gratification. Oh, I'm doing this, and I'll get my stuff corrected and a better grade. And at the same time, it sends you feedback for what the errors are.
Well, I mean, one thing I could do is I could just put a link at the bottom, problems, any kind of false alarms, whatever, just a little link, like some sort of link that would jump to the virtual writing tutor, which has a contact page, and they put in their name, and then they put in the message, I'm not a robot, and tell me what the false alarms are. And within 24 hours, I'll fix it.
I would suggest that you add it to the feedback. I mean, each essay would have a link
Okay.
to that form, because they get their feedback and then a kind of disclaimer at the beginning or at the end. Well, if you get any false alarms, please use this form and let me know.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay, I'll do that.
The other thing is perhaps reduce the number of, I mean, the whole bunch of percentages, 100% there with 50% there. That just gets them confused, and they start calculating, doing their maths, and I don't think that's healthy.
I see what you mean. Okay, so here, for example, examples for score essay, right? So we do like an argument essay. Here's an argument essay, and then we click score essay, argument essay, check. And I think you're talking about all of these numbers. You have the assignment score, and then the essay structure and content, and then the introduction score, right? So it's showing you where all the scores come from. And then as you go down, you got vocabulary, scholarship, which is their works cited section. It's found the heading and the number. Language accuracy, and then all the feedback. And this is where you think if there's a false alarm, they need to be able to contact me and get me to fix it, right?
Well, it's not just there, not just the grammar check. It's also, if you go up to the introduction, I mean, we may have to discuss that a little bit in more detail later. Where well, I mean, the question, the introduction, and the feedback they get sometimes not the right feedback they should get. They may have the appropriate question, their citations, and still the feedback they get may just get it wrong.
Well, I'll tell you, a student actually a couple of days ago said to me, "Sir, I put in a did you question at the beginning of my essay, and it says I didn't add one." Well, the guy didn't put in a question mark. And so the robot is fast and stupid, and it's looking for a question mark. He didn't put in a question mark. So his problem was, I just don't get it. Well, he hadn't capitalized anything. He hadn't used punctuation throughout. This guy had some serious problems with writing. I mean, the conventions of writing. So he had trouble interpreting the feedback. It's true. And this is why I recommend, like, you use automated scoring, but you need to be there to coach them, and you need to tell them what can go wrong. And I think a chatbot possibly could help with some confusion. Maybe. We'll see. It's all very new. I don't know how well it's going to. I think what a teacher actually does is they look for the most severe problem, the biggest impact on the student's grade, and says, you don't have a works cited section. You get 0 on this. This is your first priority. That's what automated scoring should do in the future, is communicate the way a teacher does. Right? Here's how to make the biggest improvements to your score. Let's focus on, the low-hanging fruit first. But
didn't you say, Nick, that you had all your students' essays graded this semester with the bot?
Yeah, they all did it. It's over 374 essays from, I have less than 100 students. They wrote approximately 4 essays each. And on top of that, they've done a final. So there's another 100. So we're talking about 5 essays per student per semester. That's a lot of meaningful practice, right?
Yeah.
And so I love teachers. I think they're really trying hard. But when they spend hours and hours just doing minute editing work on a student's essay and then expect the student to really learn, I think having a perfect draft is good, but getting writing practice is really how we learn to write. We learn to speak by speaking. We learn to write by writing. And perfect feedback is not as important as opportunities to learn, in my opinion.
And so then
I'm sorry.
You keep going.
No, I was just going to ask, obviously there were no major problems with grading in that way. I mean, did you have anybody freak out at the end and say, it gave me like a really low score, I don't understand? Like, did any?
Yeah. So I got a fair number of meows. I got a few students who said to me, I don't understand. It's a good essay, but I only got 66%. Why? And so I just looked and, well, they didn't put it in the works cited section. And it says right there, no works cited section. So I have to, so coaching, I think, is an essential part of using this system. The other problem is, like, I had one student. I mean, yeah, you asked, so I have to be honest. There's this one student, he wrote to me a Mio, and it said, your system, your automated evaluation system is hot garbage. And I really think you should score all students' essays yourself. Well, this is 1 out of 100 students, right? So he's a little hostile to the notion. So I recorded an 8-minute video of me going through every line of his essay and explaining how he could improve.
Well, that's the exception that proves the rule.
Well, I went, so let's consider the remedy, right? So the remedy was I recorded video like this, going through every single line of his essay, suggesting all kinds of changes, and he implemented maybe a third of them. So
maybe while you are thinking about it, I mean, the part that draws their attention, I mean, the last part, the mechanics, the language, the spelling and the grammar, that's what catches their eyes. And I think there should be some line there, well, this is just 1 or 2 points total.
Yeah, I can put the calculation of where the...
Because the list looks very long, and with the, I mean, the errors plus the false alarms, it just looks endless. So maybe a disclaimer there, although this list looks long, it doesn't take much of your percentage.
Okay, well, there's another line for them to read. And that was the point with the color coding. And also, I think this artificial intelligence of having it identify what the most important feedback is. That, I think, is the next step in the evolution. And if I can find the time and the money, I will get that done.
And the work also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that anecdotally, I have a colleague in my department who used my virtual writing teacher this semester, and she said she's never corrected so little. And I just spent a semester where I've never corrected so much.
Me too.
Literally, they got their midterms back 10 days before the final kind of deal. It was a nightmare. The whole clicking and downloading and clicking, and I got one of those XP pens, and I was writing all over them. It took forever. And there's no way in hell I'm doing that again. So apparently this works even without the coaching, just her using it on her own. And she's been raving about it to the entire department. So I think that, you know, if you can sort of figure it out enough to work with it, I believe from what I've heard, it's a great tool. That's why I'm here. I just don't want to correct 150 essays again. So yeah.
That's great to hear. Thanks.
I'll give you an anecdote.
Well, I mean, you know, so there's the tool, there's the teaching, and then there's learning how to get students on board and teachers on board and getting the tool to work better. I mean, it's going to be a long process. But I think, like I said, at the beginning of my talk, I talked about all these compromises, right? Teachers give less writing because of correction load. Teachers are concerned about the relevance of the feedback because after students have to wait so long. Teachers worry about giving formative evaluations because of the amount of time it takes to do the corrections. And so all of our most cherished pedagogical principles, they go out the door. We subvert them with these compromises because of our workload. So if we could find ways to use artificial intelligence the way that other industries use artificial intelligence to manage our workload, we can do a better job, in my opinion. But it's going to take some work.
I have a question, Nick. I'm correcting, well, actually, I just finished correcting project reports for, it's a project that I do where I want the students to propose some sort of change in society, blah, blah, blah. And they have to come up with what's currently being done and then try to create a new solution to problems. And so some students did a really excellent job and they made realistic suggestions based on research that they had done from all over the place. But some students just kind of wrote down, like they didn't have any grammar mistakes, you know, but it was like looking at their essays and saying, your idea isn't sophisticated enough. You haven't put enough thought into this project to come up with something realistic and other than saying we need to ask the government for more money, because that's what a lot of them end up saying. So is that are we able to, like, if they have them do their essays on the automatic scorer, would that be something that is evaluated?
Yeah. So can we catch it? What can we catch, right?
Yeah.
So the virtual writing tutor in its present formulation is able to measure a whole bunch of different things. And you can do a word count, see how much they've written, call that fluency. You can check for words related to a particular topic. You call that, you know, topic depth or coherence if you want. And then what I look for in the essay are things like, for example, to illustrate, right? Researchers claim, the one website reports. So I look for phrases that introduce evidence. And so I think, you know, if something is lacking in concrete evidence, then it will be missing those phrases that introduce concrete ideas, right? So that's part of it. What I use is something I call, you know, what I do is I look for, what is it called? Latent essay feature analysis, LIFA. You look at an ideal essay and you do an analysis and you say, okay, what features can I see on the surface that indicate quality? And then you look at a really poor scoring one and you try to extract from it the features that suggest low quality. And then you try to develop feedback messages to direct the students' attention to those features that they could improve and hopefully give samples. So it's kind of a long process, but the only thing that I think a machine will never be able to score is true coherence. And I've had this. A student will write, like, you know, talk about hot garbage, like just an essay of convoluted, confused thinking, right? And it takes a human to try to create a mental model of the reality they're trying to present. Machines don't do that. They're just counting and searching and matching. So that's our real value. So if we could free ourselves from, you know, counting the number of words and the number of errors and all that stuff, and give our attention to, like, what exactly are you after? What do you think your strongest argument is? And how can we make this better? And how can we make this more concrete and less abstract? Things like that, I think we'd be able to serve our students better. But, you know, teachers are way better when they're well rested. Much worse after hours of grading. Don't you think?
Indeed.
So I don't know. Let's work on it. Let's take your project and find some high scoring models and some low scoring models, and let's see if we can extract those features and then build an automated evaluation for it, and then use that with your students and see how well it works. Let's do it over the holiday or whenever you're free.
Okay. Yeah, because I have all of everything was digital, of course, everything was online this semester, so I have all of their work.
Let's do it.
So you can add in, like, for example, I do a survey project and they have to do a project proposal, and I know that I've done project proposals and other levels as well. You can adapt the writing tutor to do those kind of evaluations as well, given the parameters that you put in, or? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I could try to show you. It's an Excel file. It's an Excel file where, I don't know, it won't make a lot of sense to you because it's just a big mess of fields and numbers, but we can try. I can try and show you how it works. Okay, what do I have to do here? I need to share my screen. There we go. Share. Then I need to show you this. So I have like word lists. I keep like thousands and thousands of words. Let's see what else. Members, exports, level change, topic scoring thresholds. Here's one. Okay. So what I do is I set a threshold name. So it's action verbs, for example. And I tell my programmer, okay, so this part of the essay, we're looking for action verbs. I set the scope. It's going to be in the sentence. And the minimum value, the maximum value, the score that it gives, and then the targets. This is actually a system to evaluate topic sentences. So I'm looking for action verbs, prepositional phrases, urgency words, modals, transition phrases, sentiment magnitude. We can actually measure how positive or negative a sentence is by counting and scoring positive and negative words. Sentence length. If the topic sentence is self-referencing, I will talk about in this essay will talk about or will prove all that horrible stuff. So we can check for self-referencing phrases. This essay, this paragraph, I will talk about. Vagueness, words that are vague, is good, are good. Punctuation. So this is basically how I set it up. And then the only difference between this and an essay evaluation is that there would be another column for comments. And so then we trigger a certain comment when a certain score is triggered. And it's all done through a virtual writing tutor interface in my admin section. I need to log in as admin. And these are the essay tests. And I'm doing some tests for IELTS, but I'll show you the argument essay. Here it is. These are the instructions, and then there are the thresholds. And so here you go. The threshold, the min value, max value, score, the targets, what I'm looking for, the feedback message. And so here are the targets. Here's the message. These are the scores. And if I want to make adjustments, I export it to Excel, and then I make the changes, and I can upload it again or modify it. So yeah, I can make. How many do I have so far? Essay tests. I'm at oh geez, hundreds. I have hundreds and hundreds of tests now. 140 tests. Many of them are these IELTS tests because a lot of people on the internet are eager to pass IELTS, and so I have created a bunch of tests for that. But yeah, anything you want, I'll build it. Raju is my programmer. We're thinking of creating an interface for teachers to design their own evaluations, but that's complex and problematic. But that's the next big goal, to make it possible for teachers to create their own evaluations.
Great.
Well, it's really impressive. I cannot, it's amazing what you've done.
It's just time and money. And so self-publishing allows me to collect money that my students would otherwise pay for textbooks that I would order from other publishing houses. And I use it to pay a programmer. And that's what businesses do, right? They use money and technology to achieve the goals of their business. Why can't we do the same in education? Right? Anyway.
Well, thank you.
It's my pleasure. So
thank you very much. Yeah, that's
delightful.
I'm hopeful now.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, me too. I come like now I just think, oh, I'm going to have to spend my entire holidays setting things up, which I don't want to do. I want to read and go outside, but I'll spend some time working on this.
Okay, well, let me know if I can help in any way.